Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 3 of the ASRC Classic Formula 1 Championship using the 1993 season. We're here at the Magny-Cours circuit in France for the French Grand Prix, and you join us just as qualifying is about to get going. So we'll have a quick run through of the standings coming into this round. It was a very interesting round last time out, as there was lots of issues and crashes at Imola, but we come into the race. Kowalski is currently leading the championship on 16 points, followed by Zenkov on 14 points and Benetton, and then Van Leuven in the Ferrari in third place. Fourth place is Vesa in the Williams, and then Borweg in the Volvo is in fifth position. And then rounding up point scorers, we have Stepanenko with 3 points, Russell with 2 points, and Subic with 1 point. And then looking at the championship standings for the manufacturers, we have McLaren in the lead at the moment with 18 points, followed by Benetton with 15 points and Ferrari with 9 points. So, as I said, we are in the lovely circuit of Magny-Cours, which hosted the French Grand Prix for a number of years throughout history, and it's going to be a very interesting race this evening. Looking at the weather forecast, could possibly see some rain again, like we did in Brazil. So this could be a very, very difficult race for our drivers this evening. We've got 9 cars on the grid at the moment, so they just come out on their qualifying laps. So we'll just jump into the action now as we bring you whoever's going to be out on circuit. So here we have Sander Van Leuven in the Ferrari, currently sat in, that was third position in the standings with 6 points. He was not present at the last round, I don't believe, so he's going to have to get back onto the horse and get himself underway. So we'll have a look at his times here. He's currently on his out lap, and we'll ride on board. As comes across the start finish line now, ride on board for the lap around Magny-Cours. So coming across start finish line now, and through the first corner, pretty much flat out in qualifying trim, all the way down here, a little bit of a downshift and a lift coming through turn 2, and up the hill through turn 3, once again flat out. It's a bit of a bollard on the road there you have to be careful of, but manages to negotiate that easily, and flat out, and then heavy braking, now the heaviest braking turn on the circuit into the right hand hairpin, very tight corner, straight back on the power and up to speed once again. 23.6 through the first sector, not the quickest here, but look at the chicane, absolutely flat out there. Absolutely no problems with the car through there. Assuming a high downforce setup is going to be the order of business here. So once again, flying through the sector, and again, the chicane isn't really a chicane. You really send it through there and then get right on the anchors. Coming through the right-hander, you can take a lot of apex speed there as the corner really opens on the exit. And that's sector 2, coming through sector 3 now. Another heavy braking zone. Oh, there's a footwork spinning there. That probably was Borg, and then through the final 2 corners. Over the line, and that's a 1:15.248 for Sander Van Leuven. So we'll see who can match that. Timon Subic has gone second position, 1:15.731. Dale Borweg in third there, 1:30.9, but we know he did have a spin. Anatoly Tkachenko here in the Lola, going pole position. He's done a 1:15.195. So this is his first round in the championship. So he'll be looking to prove himself. I'm assuming the Lola BMS car wasn't very successful in real life, but it will be. It's looking good here so far. Vladislav Zenkov goes on to provisional pole in the Benetton. That's one car we definitely know that did quite well in the real life championship. 1:15.142. So not much between the top 3 cars, and just over a tenth between the top 3 at the moment. And there's about half a second back to Timon Subic in 4th position in the sister Benetton car. Jacob Kowalski in the championship leader is in 5th position in the number 8 McLaren, and then Carsten Pohls is in 6th position. He's got a little bit of time to find on the next guys. A 1:19.839 is his best time in the LaRouche, something like that. Very interesting colour combination. Looks like a just a default skin that you might find on a little weird racing game, but here it is nonetheless. So 9 cars present this evening, and 7 of them have set time. The only times cars we haven't seen set time yet is Jeff Vanillen. I apologise if I butchered your name there. In the Footwork Mugen Honda, he is on his outlap now, and then Cal Vessa, who's in the pits currently, hasn't set a time yet. Sander Van Leuven has gone pole with a 114.935, so the first car into the 114s there. As goes Ferrari, gets wide into the gravel. That's his lap ruined. Got to make sure he's hold up Benetton. But everything seems okay. He's going to continue on. He did go purple in Sector 1, but is down obviously in Sector 2 after going off there. So he'll be looking to improve on that time. So across the start-finish line, he is coming now. We'll follow Sando once again as he comes actually into the pit, back in out of the pit. He's going to go in on his outlet once again. Vladislav Zenkov currently in the pit lane as well. And he'll now be coming back out to start his lap. So 8, just under 9 minutes to go in the session. There's not too much time to actually set qualifying laps in this series. You don't get very long at all to set your laps. Van Leuven currently on pole still with 114.935, and we've got Vladislav Zenkov who are following here. His best lap time is a 1:15.142, so he's got a little bit of time to find to get on to the back of the Ferrari. Only about 0.2 of a second, so perfectly doable within the time frame set in qualifying. Then we have Anatoly Tkachenko once again. He is in his debut race with us this evening, 1:15.195. Again, not too far off. He's only half a tenth off Zenkov, but 2.5 tenths off the pole time. So a little bit of time to find, but perfectly manageable. Timon Suvic in 4th position there, 1:15.556. He's got about half a second, just over 0.6 of a second to get up to the top of the field. Jacob Kowalski as well, he's got some time to find. Not entirely sure if this is a strong track for Jacob here, or if he's just not able to find the time yet, but he has got some work to do when it comes to the to getting towards the top of the field to hopefully hold on to his championship lead. Dale Borweg has set a more representative time, 1:17.863. He's about 2 seconds off the next car, so some time to find for him, but we'll see if he can pull that one off. Lancaster Poles is about 0.8 of a second behind Dale, 1:18.714. And then the last car to have a lap time set is Jeff Van Vanillen with a 1:21.201. So again, not entirely sure if that is representative for Jeff there, so we'll have to wait and see. Just over 6.5 minutes left to go in qualifying. Let's see where we're up to. Zenkov here has gone purple in sector 1 and 2. I say that Van Leuven does go quicker. 1:14.475 is now the lap time to beat, so he manages to shave a few tenths off his time. Across the line now, Zenkov is not able to match that, 1:40.852, so it's 3.5 tenths over behind Van Leuven, so he's still got some work to do. Anatoly Tkachenko, I do apologise. He's coming through sector 1 and 2 now, so we'll see where he can improve. Did say he goes purple in sector 1, but it's not necessarily representative at this time. And he goes into the pits, so abandoning that lap. Looks like he did have possibly a off, which didn't count as sector 2, so he's back in the pits. I'm sure he will soon be out to complete another lap. Sander Van Leuven, what's going on here? He's he's binned it. He's binned it big style into the wall there. That's Obviously, not the worst thing qualifying. You can just escape back to the pits and then get a brand new car, which he is doing. And they'll put the suspension and the front wing back on very quickly, and he'll be able to get back out. But that is not ideal, considering we've only got 5 minutes of the session to go if he wants to improve on that time at all. Vladislav Zenkov comes into the pit lane as well. He's going to go back out, I'm assuming, if he can get that back going. No, stays in the pits for the time being. Kyle Vesser finally coming out of the pits to start his qualifying with 4 minutes to go in the session. So the Williams here looking to make a late impression in the session, so we'll see what he can do. The top three all in the pits at the moment. Whether they make other runs or not entirely sure. Timon Suvic has actually gone into third position there with a 115.191. So only 2 cars at the moment into the 114s, and Sander van Lumen actually into the mid to low 114s. So he has really set the pace this evening, and he's going to hopefully carry that into the race. So let's ride on board with Kyle Vesser here as he comes through the final sector now of his outlap, and we'll follow him round through an entire flying lap around Magny-Cours once again. Very high speed circuit, very dependent on a lot of downforce in these cars. So coming through the final chicane now, over the curbs, and starts his lap. A little bit squirrely there was Vesser, but he's managed to get the power down and then flat straight through here, and just a little bit of braking, couple of downshifts through turn 2. And then, oh, he's gone wide too early on the throttle. That's going to be that lap ruined, but he could continue on. I'm assuming he has fuel to do another lap. But he's quickly running out of time to do it. Only 3 minutes to go in this session. And Kyle Vesser, as we are watching here, is the only one not to complete a lap time so far. So Kyle Vesser just pulling over to let some faster cars through so he can go once again. This is going to be kind of all or nothing here for Kyle Vesser. He's doing 128.024, which obviously is not representative of the time he can do. For the man currently sitting 4th in the standings. Through sector 1 now. We'll see what kind of times he can do. That's a 25.391 through sector 1, so not a bad time. Looks like you probably will have to gain a bit of time there. It's about 1.6 seconds off the lead time. So what kind of time he can pull back through sector 2. Zenkov here. He is currently on his, what would I assume be his final flying lap. He might have just about enough time through the to get one more in, but that is purple through sector 1, 23.423. So he is flying now. Here's the Benetton through the chicane, which is completely flat out in qualifying trim. Then on the power once again, come through sector 2 now. We'll see what kind of sector time this is going to be. There's a 31.979, so a little bit off the pace in Sector 2. About 3/10 off the pace. So all the time he gained in Sector 1, he's lost in Sector 2. So can he pull anything together towards the end here? He's got enough time to complete one more lap. 1:14.842. It is an improvement, but not enough. He's still 3.5 behind Sander van Leuven. So this is his final opportunity now. So checker flag is out, so that will be it for everybody now. So the final, the lap you're on is the last one that's going to count. Purple once again through Sector 1, there goes Zenkov. 23.542. About 2.5 quicker than anybody else through Sector 1. He's got the pace through Sector 1, does Vladislav. But it seems to be through Sector 2 is where he's losing the time. Let's see what the sector time's going to be here. See if he can shut me up at all. And through Sector 2, it's a little bit off the pace. It's a personal best, but it's 2/10 off. So again, all the time he gains in Sector 1, he's lost in Sector 2. So once again, we'll have to wait and see if he can gain any time in Sector 3, coming through the final part of the circuit now, through the final corner. And it's going to be a 1:14.812. Once again, a minor improvement for Zenkov. It's not going to be enough. And I believe that is going to be your order. The only car finishing a lap now is Kowalski, who is down quite considerably through Sector 1 and 2. So that is going to be his position. So that'll be your order for the race. Sander van Leuven taking pole position with Vladislav Zenkov in second place, Timon Suvic in third, Anatoly Tkachenko in fourth. Fantastic result for the starter, the new starter, and then fifth place will be Jacob Kowalski. So we'll run through the full grid once we get to the warm-up session. We have I think it's a 5-minute warm-up session, if I remember correctly, just to get everything all ready for the race. So once again, driving at Magny-Cours this evening for the French Grand Prix. I'll mention once again that there is going to be, I believe, some inclement weather, so something to look out for when it comes to the race. Could be a little bit of rain, which could throw the strategy up in the air. There'll be a full Grand Prix race distance this evening as well, so plenty to look forward to come the race. If it's anything like the first two races, it's going to be fantastic action from start to finish from all the drivers here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do. Overtaking wise, Magny-Cours has historically not been very easy for making overtaking maneuvers. A lot of the circuit is just high-speed corners with one line, so it's going to be quite tricky to get through here. Obviously, the hairpins are going to be the main points to make moves, so we'll keep an eye on that. So, as we get into the warm-up session here, 10-minute warm, we'll just quickly run through the starting order. So, Sander van Leuven in pole position in the Ferrari, and Vladislav Zenkov in second place in the Benetton. Timon Suvic in the sister Benetton is alongside the third, and fourth place we have Anatoly Tkachenko. Jacob Kowalski in McLaren in fifth, and then the Mugen Honda, football Mugen Hondas of Van Elen and Dale Borweg in seventh and eighth, and then in eighth we have Garth Bowles. Ninth we have Cal Besser, who couldn't get a really representative time in qualifying. He'll be rounding out the 9-car grid this evening. So as we see, just cars coming back on circuit, just getting used to once again having the fuel in the cars. Obviously, no refueling is allowed in this series, so you've got to fuel the cars completely to the top and get that to the end of the race. obviously tyre strategy is free. You can use whichever tyres you want. You've got 3 dry compound tyres. You've got the soft, medium and hard, similar to what we have today, and then you have the wet compound tyre. I don't believe we have an intermediate compound, although I may be mistaken. But yeah, I don't believe there is any restriction on tyre usage. You don't have to use a particular compound or any particular sets, just as many as you want in whatever order you want. So that does leave the strategy wide open. Do you just pile on all of the soft tyres and go for more stops, or do you try and eke out the tyre life and spend the least amount of time in the pits as possible? That is going to be something that the drivers have to figure out for themselves. So just over 7 minutes until we get into the action. So I'll quickly remind everybody what's happened so far in the season. So we started out at Brazil, and we had very inclement weather, very interesting race, which actually let Kowalski take the maiden win of the season. In that race, through fantastic fighting through everybody involved, the McLarens and Benettons, Ferraris all at each other, and then in round 2 in Imola, yeah, we did have some strong competition from Scamozzo, who unfortunately couldn't make it this evening, but he was looking to take a quite a decisive victory at Imola, but unfortunate incidents with Stepanenko, who again isn't here this evening, put him completely out of the race. An absolutely catastrophic incident that they had. And then Russell as well, who once again said he couldn't be here this evening. He unfortunately said he hurt his ankle when he was at work, so hopefully you get well soon, my friend, and we'll see you on track once again. But he was looking to challenge for the lead as well and take a win, but unfortunately the engine completely blew up in spectacular fashion, so not the best results, unfortunately, there for Lee. But once again, it was a fantastic race from start to finish. The grids in this series are not necessarily the biggest, but they sure do offer a lot of action. The driver's extremely talented and willing to have a good old fight to get the win, so we'll hopefully see something very similar this evening. So looking to the calendar for the rest of the season, so obviously we are the French Grand Prix this evening, and then in 2 weeks time we go off to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. And then 7th of December we are off to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. And then the 21st of December we are off to Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. That'll be the last race before Christmas on 21st of December, as I said. And then into the new year we have the final two rounds in the eastern part of the world. We have the Japanese Grand Prix on the 4th of January, and then the Australian Grand Prix to round out the season on the 18th of January. So plenty of action to come, plenty of racing to come, and it's going to be quite the season. Believe there is some space left in the series, so if you are interested in racing these cars, the cars are all based on the McLaren, which is available as just part of standard content for R Factor 2, so you can very easily get involved in this series. So all the details are in the description below for the Discord to join. So just 4.5 minutes till we get into the race now. This is where everyone is getting used to driving the cars here. Making sure they know what lines they need to take on the full fuel, how long the tyres will take to get up to temperature, everything like that, and just a quick comfort break to make sure that everybody is you're good to go for the race. You're not going to get thirsty or hungry, or just need the toilet, because it's a full Grand Prix distance. So it is an extremely challenging prospect to get to the end of this race. These are very physical cars to drive, and especially if you've got that more high-end equipment, high force feedback, stiff pedals, you are going to really feel it towards the end of this race. I know I would, so hopefully these guys are a little bit fitter than I am. Just looking at the times in the warm-up, Zenkov is currently on pole. He's on 19.1 on high fuel. Sander van Leuven, your pole sitter at 119.7. So that could possibly give us a little bit of an insight into the race pace of these drivers. It could mean absolutely nothing. It could just be Van Leuven just taking it easy. It could have been just a god lap that Zenkov put in, but we'll have to wait and see. But it does leave completely open for the race. And then the 5 cars have set lap time in the warm session. Natalia Kachenko going into 5th position, 125.271. So just a nice easy lap for him. Comes across the line here. It's a little bit quicker there, 122.431 in that low. That's a fantastic looking livery on that low, I must say. It's a shame we didn't see too much of that in the the real life series. Okay, so just as we get to the end of the warm-up session, we'll quickly run through the starting order once again. So we have Sander van Leuven in the Ferrari on pole position, and Vladislav Zenkov in second, Timon Suvic in third in the Benetton, and then Anatoly Kachenko in the Lola in fourth. Jacob Kowalski, the championship leader, in 5th position, followed by Jeff Van Nielen once again. He's the new starter this evening in 6th, and Dale Borg in 7th. 8th we have Jeff Van Nielen in the LaRousse, and then rounding up the end of the grid we have Cal Vesser in the Cannon Williams. So less than a minute to go now. This is where the nerves will start to rise for these drivers. They have a formation lap just to get the cars up to temperature and everything all good to go, and then it will be a standing start as it is in the real life equivalent of the Formula 1 World Championship. And interestingly as well, as it was in 1993, there is no pit speed limit, so you will see them when they make the pit stops, they absolutely send it down the pit lane. Fantastic to see in the sim, not necessarily the best thing to see in real life, but we move past that. That's why we do it in the sim rather than on the actual racetrack. So pit stops cost considerably less time in this series as they would do with a pit speed limit enforced. So making a pit stop under green flag conditions, where there is no safety cars or anything along those lines in this series, is a lot less costly than it could otherwise be. But that is the warm-up finish, so we'll quickly just get everyone set and ready for the grid. We'll hear the nice loud R-Factor man as we change over the session and get everyone onto the grid. There he is. And you can see the weather has changed as well. That is looking exceptionally sunny for the time being. We'll have to wait and see if that stays. Oh, as it changes now. A little bit of cloud cover. So, as I said earlier, we are possibly expecting some inclement weather. So, could be some rain, could be a little bit greasy on track. Have to be careful on those tyres. And Van Leuven is a little bit eager, it looks like, on the formation lap. Not everybody is on the grid yet, so he is back in the pits and will be rejoining the grid. So two Benettons on the first and second rows, as we see Zenkov once again sending it off the start finish line. Hopefully that doesn't give him a penalty or disqualification. That would be rather unfortunate, because I've not seen Van Leuven come back onto the grid as of yet. There we are. So we're just waiting for Anatoly Kachenko to get onto the grid, and we will line everyone up for the formation lap. And off we go on a formation lap now. So this is the time where you need to set the car up to get the best launch. Ideally put some rubber down on your start box, get the tyres warm, get the brakes warm, and make sure the engine doesn't get too warm. Obviously the longer you sit on the front row as you wait for the rest of the field to grid up, the colder the car is going to get in terms of the tyres and the brakes. So Van Leuven here will have to be cautious not to go too quickly on the formation lap. He's going to be under pressure from the two Benettons behind him. Suvik is going to have a run, sorry, not Suvik, Zenkov's going to have to try and make a run into turn 1. He's going to have the inside line coming into turn 1, but it's going to turn into the outside line very quickly, so overtaking is going to be a very tricky prospect this evening, I do believe. So you'll have to be extremely opportunistic on the first lap to try and gain as many positions as you can. One person's going to be doing that is going to be Mikhail Kowalski, championship leader in the Senna helmet. He is going to want to get some more points than that, because at the moment 5th position, using the old style point system in Formula 1, so points down to 6th position. So he, in his current position, he would be getting 2 points, which would leave him that would leave him a little bit vulnerable, especially if Zenkov, who's currently in 2nd place, starting in 2nd, if he is able to finish any better. So Kowalski is going to want to get to the front of the grid as soon as he can. So the weaving starts now, just to get the tyres up to temperature one last time. And come into the final sector here, and we'll be gridding up and ready to go for 72 laps of the French Grand Prix in the ASRC Classic Formula 1 Championship. A couple of burnouts to get ready on the grid. So everyone lines up. The rev starts to rise, the lights go on. And we're away to good start, fantastic start from Van Leuven. He's left Suvik in the dust. Suvik's really right down the order. He's fine with, oh, that's Kowalski off onto the gravel. So that's not an ideal start, and it's coming right to the back of the grid for the championship leader. But Van Leuven is currently in the lead. Suvik's coming back through the field. He's going past Kachenko. Side by side on the straight, side by side for the lead as well. Zenkov's going to try and make a move on the leader, coming into the hairpins. Going to be a big braking lock up there for Van Leuven, who loses out on the position, gets pushed on to the grass ever so slightly. They're still side by side, and into the lead goes Vladislav Zenkov. Not ideal start for the lead there, just locked up coming to the hairpin, and that has put him into 2nd position. Tomasz Suvik is being passed once again by Anatoly Kachenko. Kachenko into 3rd position now as the battle for the lead continues. Jeffrey Kowalski is still at the back of the field, so he is going to have some work to do to get back up to the front of the grid. Oh, what's happened there? That's the leader, it's Van Leuven. He's got down to 4th place. It looks like he's gone off and has hopefully not made any contact with anybody. almost had a fantastic start. Calvetti was up into 6th position now, so he's in the point scoring position for the time being. Anatoly Kachenko into 3rd position, Tomas Suvic into 4th, but the leader, Vladislav Zenkov, he is just leaving the field at the moment. He's got a 1.5 second gap coming across the line. A similar gap between him and his teammate, as we see Van Leuven has got past Kachenko, and he will be under pressure once again now as we come down the straight. The slipstream coming into effect. He'll run on board with the Lola here, not able to make a move at the moment. Looks like some shore shifting there from Kachenko, so that's an interesting tactic, but he's lost a little bit of ground there to the Ferrari. Del Borweg is under pressure Calvesa is become under pressure, so that's Kachenko falling into the clutches of the rest of the grid here. Here he is under pressure from the Williams. Right on board with Cal. We'll see what kind of pace he gets. Looks like he can very defensive there as Kachenko just cross the circuit, parks the car in the middle of the circuit, and just does not leave an opening for Calvesa. Coming into the final corners now. Across the start finish line onto lap 3. All Vesa wants to do here is just stay behind. The sparks flying off the loader there. Scuderia Italia car. Now onto the start, the back straight now. This is where the slipstream is going to come into effect. Vesa closing, and C's really closing in. Good look towards the inside. Isn't brave enough to make that move for the time being, so he'll have to stay behind the Scuderia Italia for the time being. Dekko Kowalski has made it up into 7th position now. He is fighting Del Borweg for the final points paying position. And then looks to the inside, brakes early. Oh, that's a big lock up there for Borweg. There's contact, there's a spin. That's Borweg around. He's able to continue on. Looks like they might have been able to get away with that without any damage, but he is not having a great time there. And at the back of the grid, then we just see Carsten Poles. He is unfortunately fallen back ever so slightly. Jaffa Newman here is chasing down Kowalski, trying to make something of that early incident. Coming to the top of the field again, Timon Subic is under pressure here from Sander Van Leuven in the Ferrari. Goes to the inside into turn 1, heavy brake, no braking I should say, but a massive dive into turn 1. Fantastic move there for Van Leuven. Gets the move done for the time being, but he's once again going to be under pressure. Bit of a poor exit there from Subic, that's really going to hamper him. He's dropping back and back. Coming down the back straight here, he's not going to be close enough to make a move, so he might be able to make a move here. Is Calvesa once again on the Scuderia Italia, not close enough, but he's right on the gearbox coming into the hairpin, and on the exit a little bit of a wobble on the power, looking left and right there, trying to find a gap for the Williams to fit into. No such gap is available at this time. This battle far from over. Kachenko doing a fantastic job of holding off the hard-charging Williams from the back of the grid. But it almost seems a little bit inevitable here. Calvesa really does have a lot of pace early on in that Williams. All drivers apart from Van Leeuwen, Borweg and Poles, I should say, is on the soft tyres, so they're really pushing to get the most pace out of this here. So see what Vesa can do here. He's not close enough to make a move through turn 1, but could possibly make a move through turn 3. He's had to back off a little bit, but gets a good exit coming out of turn 3 and onto the start, onto the back straight. Closing once again, we're right on board with Cal once again. He's not going to be close enough once again to make a move through the hairpin. That's the best overtaking opportunity you're going to have on this circuit, it seems. Once again, dips out of the slipstream, trying to just, I think, save some of the engine temperature. He doesn't want the car to overheat and blow the engine. power. It just seems to have more punch, more acceleration. Breaking through the chicane, which is barely a chicane really, and these cars, they absolutely fly through there. Oh, big handful of oversteer from the Williams there. That's really hampered his run, dropped him back a few tenths. So all the work he's done in the opening part of the lap to get close to the back of the Scuderia Italia, he loses in the final sector once again. Now that's putting him under pressure from Chequered Kowalski. So Kowalski now is closing in. He's less than a second behind at the line. Best lap from Ladislav Zenkov, 119.418, so he is absolutely flying at the moment. So once again, Calvesa is closing in on the Scuderia Italia, but he's just not able to get close enough. Gaps are fairly even between the top these three drivers here, I should say. This is the battle for fourth position. Looks like he's dropped back a little bit as well. Keep an eye on this battle as it develops here, but Timon Suvic once again closing in on Sander van Leuven. So is the pace gone on the Van Leuven's car? Possibly. We'll keep an eye on that battle as we've got the more pressing one here for fourth position. Right on the gearbox there, side by side goes Vasey. He's on the inside, breaking into the hairpin, pushes wide. The Scuderia Italia, all this contact, both of them spin, and Kowalski just says thank you very much, I will take that, and he goes up into fourth position. That is unfortunate. Kachenko still not on the grid. All this contact as he rejoins. That's with Del Borweg. So that's Kachenko down to P8. Del Borweg into P7. But unfortunately, I would not be surprised if he got some damage from that. Back to the battle for second position. We've got Timon Suvic in the Benetton, chasing down Sander van Leuven in the Ferrari. Gap's about 1.5 seconds. Ooh, as Suvic goes a bit wide. You have to be careful, otherwise he'll have the wrath of the race director. Gap's hovering around 1.5 seconds at the moment, but somebody was absolutely just leaving at the moment at the front of the field is Zenkov. Oh, here we go, the battle once again. Calvesa and Kowalski fighting over it once again for fourth position. Vesa really does have some pace in that Williams. I don't know where that pace was in qualifying, but he's really hustling it now, trying to get back up into fourth position. Oh, big slide from both cars, tandem drifting in Formula 1 cars, and through all that, Calvesa manages to just send it down the down the inside in the final corner. So he goes up into fourth position, Chequered Kowalski into fifth. Absolutely, that was a crazy overtake. Well done, boys. This battle is not over though, it looks like. Slipstream is in effect here for Kowalski. Right on board with him now. He's not going to be close enough coming into the hairpin, but look how close he gets under braking. Oh, just about gets it pulled up, but massive handfuls of oversteer. That is really going to slow him up, and that drops him down to about 0.8 of a second behind. A bit of a downshift there coming through the chicane. Gap up to about 1 second now. I'll keep an eye on this. I don't think this is over yet. So here's your leader, Václav Zenkov. He is about 5 seconds clear of Sander van Leuven. Last lap time was a 119.6. Marginally quicker from Van Leuven at 119.632. So the gap is slowly coming down, but not very quickly. But there is still a long way in this race to go. We're not even 10 laps into the race yet. One thing to consider now is when our pit stop's going to happen. Obviously the soft tyre runners are going to be pitting in first, which will be the vast majority of the field. apart from I think it's Van Nielen, Borweg and Poles. So we'll see how that develops as well. Back to this battle for 4th position once again. Kowalski is still on the back of Vesa here. He's not left him completely. There was a yellow flag briefly there through sector 3, but I think that's quickly cleared itself. That's for about 9/10 of a second here. Extend a lot through sector 3 here, it looks like. There's Jeff Van, you can see in the background as well, in the footwork. He's not out of this. He's going to be there if there's any further drama between these two drivers. But yeah, through sector 3, Kyle Vesa has just left Jacob here. Gained about a second on him through that one sector alone. So we'll keep an eye on this as it goes on. Simon Suvek here in the Benetton. He is currently chasing down the Ferrari still. About 2 seconds is the gap here. Last lap times, there wasn't a lap time set last time for Van Leuven. I'm assuming there was a cut track warning there, but you can see the gap is not very big at all. About 2 seconds between these two drivers, so this battle could go either way at this stage. Best lap times 119.4 for Van Leuven, 119.7 for Suvik, so it's far from over. It's right on board with Suvik for a few corners here to come through the final corner. You can see the car far from planned to come through the final chicane there, but just look how easily it goes through turn 1. Through there, turn 2, just a couple of downshifts. You can see the sparks flying off the front wing as it scrapes the floor. Ooh, a little bit on the gravel, looks like there from Van Leuven, so we have to keep an eye on that one. Yellow flag in sector 3, which has now cleared itself. Oh, big lock. It looks like the rear's locked up a little bit there for Suvik. That's going to drop him back ever so slightly. Through sector 2 now, the gap's hovering around 2.5 seconds, 2.4 seconds, so not quite close enough to make any moves. Doesn't look like he's gaining all that quickly either, is Suvik, so Van Leuven safe for the time being. Not able to keep up with the leader's pace though. Vladislav Zenkov is happily just sat in the 119s. That last time was 119.592. Have a look what the lap time is, 119.9, so nearly half a second quicker than Sander Van Leuven in the Ferrari. So fantastically consistent times from the leader here. Staying within the 119s, and yeah, he's just slowly building that gap up to 6.6 seconds now. It's nowhere near a done deal though, because we've found out from this series so far anything can happen at any point. So the brakes glowing there under the heavy braking zones. Looks like some lap traffic ahead there. That'll be Carsten Poles in the Roos. Hopefully won't cause the leader too many issues. Gap's come down once again between... oh, that's Zenkov in the pits. I was about to pass to a different car, but Zenkov comes into the pit lane, so that'll be the first stop. To try and undercut the other cars. You can see absolutely flying out the pit lane there. Comes out of the pits into 3rd position. plenty clear from Calvesa. 60 laps to go, so still a long way to go here. If we only go 12 laps on a set of soft tyres, that's going to be a lot of pit stops. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of pace he has now, what tyres he's put onto the car. He's close to his teammate here, Simsports. He's only about a second off. Battle once again for 4th position coming here. This is Kowalski has caught back up to Calvesa in the Williams. So about a second between these two once again. Zenkov already passed his teammate into 2nd position, so probably some team orders coming into effect there. Different strategy, so no need to fight each other. They can get on with chasing down on those fresh tyres the leader, which is Sander van Leuven. Back to this battle though for 4th position. Kowalski again dropping back to the final sector. Simon coming into the pits now. Oh, big moment there for Kowalski. The tyres clearly dropping off, it looks like. But no pit stop yet for either the Williams or the McLaren. Oh, it looks like there Timon Suvic comes out in between the two cars. So we'll have to wait and see here what this does to the battle. Timon Suvic, fresh tyres just out the pits. They'll be a little bit cold, so you have to be careful there, but you do know that these cars on fresh tyres are rapid. Into the hairpin now. Just put a little bit of breathing room between Calvesa and Jackie Kowalski. Up 2 seconds between those two drivers. Look at the speed here that Zenkov's got. He's already onto the back of Van Leuven. He's got 2nd back. He's gone purple in sector 1 and 2 here. And he's closing in through the final corner. 1:18.093. Fastest lap of the race there goes to Vladislav Zenkov. Those new tyres have switched on quick. And he's gained about half a second in one sector to the Ferrari. It's not going to be any competition at this rate. Looks to the inside, now the outside. Heavy braking in on the outside of the hairpin. He's going to try and make this work. Tries to get a switchback, not able to make that work. And he has to hold on to 2nd position for the time being, does Zenkov. So this is exactly what Sander van Leuven wants. He wants to use all of those, all that advantage of the fresh tyres. As Van Leuven goes wide, he manages to rejoin the track ahead. You have to be careful that could end up in some penalties if he continues to do that. But yeah, he'll want to use up all the advantage of the fresh tyres that Zenkov has by keeping him behind. So absolutely no reason to let him pass so far. Oh, big slide there. That's not going to help him. Zenkov has to really get onto the anchors. Side by side there. He's on the inside. Heavy braking into the hairpin. Oh, the squeezing on the apex. Contact between the two drivers. Zenkov manages to get away with it. And then there comes Van Leuven into the pit lane. Just dives straight in, knowing that he's used he's used that time now. There comes Suvic, who's going to actually take over 2nd place from Van Leuven. Not sure what's happening. Yeah, Van Leuven coming out of the pits now, so he's lost so much time there. So the undercut is the stronger method here, it seems. So Van Leuven going to the medium tyres, interesting. So Zenkov and Suvic both on softs once again, and Van Leuven coming out on mediums. So Van Leuven looking to extend this 2nd stint as long as he can and try and gain track position that way. So that's why he went a lot longer than the Benettons did on the soft tyres. Battle here once again for 4th position. This battle has been continuing to rage on since Timon Suvic has got dispatched of Calvesa. So neither of these cars are, have yet pit. So we'll be seeing that soon surely, because I will be losing a lot of time on those worn soft tyres. Into sector 3 now. Gap winding again to sector 3, so there's just a little bit of pace difference through sector 3, it seems. That's where Carl Vaser is able to gain the pace. But yeah, once again, these two are continuing on. So, not entirely sure how much this is going to work in the grand scheme of things. They are closing in on Van Leuven in the Ferrari. It's only about 3 seconds between Carl Vaser and the Ferrari now. So this could be interesting. Are the fresh medium tyres still slower than the worn softs? So much curb there Carl Vaser taking. He's got lots of confidence that car is going to stick through there. Quick refresh there, and fortunately the pit stops aren't really showing on there, but the top 3 definitely have made pit stops and changed tyres. The 2 cars up here, Vaser and Kowalski, have not, and they still haven't. So the gas winding again now between these 2 cars, so the soft tyres definitely are not the best tyre at this stage. I mean, they've done 18 laps. So these are far from fresh tyres, these two, so they're both just seeing how long they can stick it out, I see. Suvic a little quicker that lap than the leader, Vladislav Zenkov. Gap's of 15 seconds, so no real threat for Zenkov at the moment, but it's one to keep an eye on if the two Benetton start to have a battle. Interestingly enough as well, Van Leuven was about a second quicker that lap on the medium tyres, and Zenkov was on the soft, so did his strategy work out there? Did Van Leuven use enough of the soft tyres to get rid of that pace advantage? I have to wait and see. 18.441, yeah, he's gone again about half a second quicker that lap, so the gap is at 22 seconds, about 7.5 seconds to Timon Suvig, who did a 19.2 that last lap. So interesting to see. The Ferrari definitely, as we see here, is on the medium set, definitely is looking strong on that medium set of tyres. Can he hold that pace for the entire stint now? How long will those medium tyres last? They'll obviously last a lot longer than the softs, but it could be a better option if the softs don't last. But battle once again is on for 4th position. Kowalski is right on the back. It's the closest he's been for a few laps now of Carl Vaser. He's within 0.4 of a second. Nowhere really to overtake at the moment, so he's going to have to wait behind the Williams. The dirty air will not be helping through this sector here. You need all the downforce you can get. Not as bad as modern times, but definitely is a thing. The dirty air will be affecting the airflow over the wings, causing a loss of grip and causing you to use a bit more tyre life as well, which is something these two, they've really looked after those tyres. Lap 20 we're on now, and these two are still on the soft tyres they started the race on. So, well done for getting those tyres to this stage. So last lap time there for Zenkov. Just while we've got this battle open, we're just having a look at the lap times from the leaders. 119.2 for Zenkov, 119.6 for Suvig. Van Leuven didn't have a lap time registered that last time round. I'm assuming that was down to track limits violations. That's not the first time that's happened so far in this race, so Sander will have to be very careful going forward. He doesn't want a penalty for track limits. Battle really close between these two now. Kowalski deep in the slipstream. Nowhere to go though through this sector. There is one line. He could have possibly made a move through the right-hander there, but not close enough. That's some slipstream now. Looks to the inside. Big late dive there for Kowalski. He's going to make that stick. He looks like he does. He uses all the runoff he can get on the well, not the runoff, the circuit, and just leaves Vaser just with his pants down there. That was a very opportunistic move, fantastic move, but that is going to leave Kowalski under pressure now, coming through the back straight. So we'll keep an eye on Vaser. Will ride on board with him. We come down here. He's lost a little bit of time there. Looks like he had poor exit out of turn 2. 0.6 of a second at the end of the straight. Bit of a lock up there, but managed to get the car stopped. A little bit of oppo as we go through the apex and able to carry on. But yeah, absolutely fantastic move, Kowalski. I bet he'll be glad that we caught that on the live stream. Look here. Alu was caught right up to the back to Suvic. Suvic made a mistake, he goes through. That was absolutely nothing that Suvic could do there. What's happened to Suvic? He's really slow. Let's have a look on board, see if we can see any obvious issues. Maybe he's had an off somewhere. He's back up to speed now, but that's Van Leuven back into second position. Yeah, no idea what happened there. So very strange. But this battle not over. Through the final corners now, Vesa is going to look to challenge the championship leader once again. 0.6 of a second coming across the start-finish line. We need a good exit out of turn 2 here. And he does get it. He's 7/10 behind. He's not close enough to make a move here. Yeah, definitely a mistake for Timon Suvic. Last start time was a 1:26.4, so he's had a spin somewhere. Not close enough once again is Vesa here. They're still going on these tyres. 50 laps to go, so in this race. But these two, I'm pretty sure they have not made a pit stop yet. If they have, then I have missed it, which I do apologise for. 190.3 and 190.7 lap times, but they've been battling consistently throughout. Oh, big moment there for Vesa, and he's round, big half spin, and he managed to get it going again, but that is the battle over and done with for the time being. Yeah, unfortunate for Kyle Vesa. He just got a little bit too much curb coming through the penultimate corners, and just dropped the car. But Van Leuven again, last lap time round, having a lap deleted due to track limits. So he really does need to be careful. You can see how much track he's using every single bit of curb he can. He's around 0.2 of a second quicker through sector 1 than the leader, although the gap is still at 20 seconds. So Zenkov still has more than a pit stop's gap over. Oh, that's a big spin for Van Leuven. He's round, so that puts him down to 3rd. That's probably going to put him down to 4th. Well, can he get the car running? He's out. He's stalled the car, and the Van Leuven is out of the race. So that is terrible, absolute disaster for the Ferrari. So that puts Jacob Kowalski, the championship leader, into 3rd position. So he is going to absolutely adore that. So 4 points on the table for him at the moment, and that has taken all of the pressure off Vladislav Zenkov. at the moment, who is currently sat pretty in the lead by about 24 seconds. It's an absolute disaster there for the Ferrari driver. But he didn't have a an ignition and starter bound to his wheel, and that's him completely out. So here's your leader, Vladislav Zankov, just cruising for the time being. Still plenty of the race to go though. We've unfortunately lost Carsten Poles as well. I'm not entirely sure why that is. But yeah, he's unfortunately out of the race. He's been out of the race for quite a few laps now. So gaps have widened across the board here. Closest drivers are Jacob Kowalski and Karl Vesa still. There's about 5 seconds between those cars. Kowalski is about 6 or 7 seconds off the back of Simon Suvic in second position. Then Karl Vesa has quite the considerable gap in front of Anatoly Kachenko in the Scuderia Italia. So a decent showing so far for the newcomer in the Scuderia Italia. He comes into the pit lane, I'm assuming for a scheduled stop. Into the pit box, car goes up on the jacks, tyres are changed, and he's back underway. And just uses quite smart there for Kachenko, just short shifts all the way into the pit lane so he doesn't spin it into the wall, and he is out ahead of Dale Borwick, so I'll have to keep an eye on this. I believe that's Dale, yes it is. Keep an eye on this one as the tyres are going to be a bit cold for Kachenko. This could be Dale Borwick's opportunity to make a move. Big lock up there, I think that's from Borwick. Coming into the braking zone, managed to keep it going, got really careful as flat spots are simulated in R-Factor 2, as anyone who has driven in R-Factor 2 for more than 15 minutes will 100% know this. Gaps about a second. So Footwork and Scuderia Italia fighting each other here. What's happened to Simon Suvic? He's made another mistake. He's down to 4th. So Jacob Kowalski into 2nd position, Karl Vesa into 3rd, Simon Suvic back down to 4th. So absolute disaster here for the Benetton driver. He's had a poor couple of laps. Well, 132. Unless he made a pit stop, I could be mistaken there. I think it would make sense that he is on schedule for a pit stop now. Yeah, that does make sense. Ignore me. So let's keep an eye on the two drivers here, Karl Vesa and Jacob Kowalski. And we'll see when they come into the pit lane. Pace difference that Suvic has here on those fresh tyres. Onto softs again. So looks like everyone is just sticking to the soft tyres for now. Vesa continues. Wide in the exit, a little bit of dust kicked up there. That's going to help Simon Suvic into the slipstream. Going to try and make a move into the hairpin. Looks to the outside. Going to try and get a switchback manoeuvre done. Oh, not quite. Vesa just parks the car right in front of him. There's a little bit of contact between the two. They're still side by side. Who's going to come off best here? It's going to have to be someone. Someone's going to have to back out. It's going to have to be Suvic. There's only one line through there, and if somebody doesn't back out, then it's going to be an accident. So very sensible there for Suvic. He tried to make the move, but wasn't able to get it to stick. So he has to sit back behind Karl Vesa for the time being. Oh, lost Del Borweg unfortunately as well. Wonder what's happened there. He's back in the pits. So really unfortunate. He had quite a strong finish last time out at Imola. So it's a shame he couldn't capitalise on that. Back to the battle now for third position. Vesser continuing to defend, leaves the door open on the inside. Suvic decides not to take that. Into the pits now comes Carl Vesser. So this is where we think now, when does Kowalski come in? So he's going to have quite a gap, maybe about 30 seconds or so to, maybe not 30 seconds, maybe 15-20 seconds to Carl Vesser. So let's see what he does. We saw earlier on the undercut is looking like the best strategy at this early stage. Zenkov is in the pits as well. So the leader is in the pits, so keep an eye on Kowalski, the championship leader. The 6 cars still running in this race this evening, so providing you finish the race, you are guaranteed a points finish. Kowalski continuing on, which is surprising, I must say. Given the pace that the fresh tyres have, he must be just holding out as long as he can to have the fresh tyres at the end and get the advantage, possibly. But I guess about 7 seconds between him and the leader. That's, I'm assuming that is going to start increasing as Zenkov gets up to temperature on the new tyres. Suvic's closing though. He is about half a second quicker on that last lap than Kowalski. Oh no, yes, sorry. Yeah, Suvic is quicker. So when does Kowalski come into the pit lane? Let's keep an eye on that. And is he going to have a position still over Carl Vesser? So pit stop does cost you around 12 or 13 seconds, so it's going to be very close at the current stage. The gap is under 12 seconds now between him and Carl Vesser, and he continues on. So 1:19.4 was the last lap from him. 1:18.3 for Carl Vesser. So yeah, he's losing time hand over fist now. The longer he stays out, the more he is going to lose track position to the Williams. Fastest lap so far in the race belongs to Vladislav Zenkov, our leader, 1:18.093, which is about half as well, 3/10 of a second quicker than everybody else around him. Carl Vesser did 1:18.3 last time around. That was purple in sector 2, so he is flying at the moment on those fresh tyres. Gap's under 12 seconds now between him and the second place position, which is Chequered Kowalski, for de facto third position after pit stops have played themselves out. Approaching half distance in this race now. Still plenty of action to go, plenty of pit stops and plenty to keep you occupied, but he's still staying out. So this must be the long-term strategy for Kowalski here, to have the tyre advantage come the end of the race. So everybody who is currently still running on the soft tyres at the moment, so these seem to be the most popular race tyre. Five seconds is the gap between Kowalski and Suvic now. That gap is starting to stabilise, to be fair to Kowalski here. 1:19.0 was the last lap there, 1:18.9 for Suvic. Zenkov going even quicker, 1:17.758 was that last lap from him. So absolutely stonking lap there. Getting close to qualifying pace is Zenkov here, only a couple of seconds off. So he is rocketing away. He is clearly not holding any pace on the table, or it doesn't seem to anyway. He could have so much in reserve. We'll have to wait and see. Ross line here, that's a 1:18.1, so not quite as quick, but still purple in sector 1. So Zenkov really pushing. His teammates, Timon Suvic, closing in on Kowalski, who hasn't pitted yet again. So he must have done it at least once, but I've not seen Kowalski come into the pits once so far. So I really have to keep an eye on that one. He must have pitted, because you cannot take these soft tyres 32 laps and have that pace that he does. But it was a 1:20.1 that last lap, so he's losing time now. Those tyres starting to fall off the cliff. But Calvesa 1:25.4, so he must have made a mistake on that lap, which is dropped him back. Keep an eye as well. The clouds are starting to darken, so one to look out for is rain. That's possibly what Kowalski's doing. Is he possibly waiting to see if we get rain? The track clearly isn't as bright as we want. I'm not entirely sure if raindrops will show up on my screen, unfortunately, but the drivers will certainly feel it. You can see there, Kowalski is just in the background, getting closed in. Kowalski still not pitting. He carries on. 1:18.9. So the pace is still there for Kowalski. He's able to carry on. Oh, Kyle Bases retired. What happened to Kyle? Maybe an accident possibly, or a disconnect, but yeah, that is terrible luck for Kyle Vesa for what was a fantastic run from the back of the grid all the way up into fighting for the podium positions, but unfortunately he is out of the race. So that does promote Anatoly Kachenko, who is in his first race in the series, into 4th position, which would be a solid 3 points to start him out. And in the current standings, that will put him into 3rd position, joint with Bulweg and Stepanenko. So yeah, just goes to show, you have one, you turn up and have a good running here, you're bound to get some decent points. Kowalski goes, does his personal best through sector 2. He still carries on. The sky is definitely starting to darken now, so will we possibly see rain in the next few minutes? Just about halfway through the race now. We have 5 cars still running from the 9, so there's a little bit of attrition coming through here. Lap times are fairly standard between all drivers. 119.2 for Kowalski, 118.499 for Zenkov, so he's continuing to drive away at the front. 119.524 for Timon Suvic, so slightly slower than Kowalski here. Gap is at about 4 seconds. Oh, big slide there from McLaren. He's still not pitting. Unless Kowalski is pitted when we haven't been looking at him possibly, but he is he's really nursing those tyres. Kowalski going purple in Sector 1? Well, he's saying that, but yeah, it's 10th off Zenkov that time round. So I can't really trust the overlay too much here. So gap is starting to come down between second and third. Timon Suvic is currently flying. He is a little bit quicker. It was about on Kowalski's pace. That's last sector. Was considerably quicker through the last lap. Kowalski does not have that time recorded. Looks like he possibly went out of track limits. But the gap is around 4 seconds now. Right on board with Suvic for the time being. You can see Kowalski in the background there, just a small speck, which is slowly getting bigger and bigger as the race goes on. So the stops there, you can pretty much ignore those because Zenkov has definitely made 2 pit stops. I'm assuming Kowalski has made at least 1, but I wasn't aware of it. I didn't actually see it happen, unfortunately. But you must have. You can't get those soft tyres through 37 laps at that pace. Continues once again. Gap now 2.5 seconds, so the gap is closing quite considerably. A whole second quicker than our last lap. So is this the point where those soft tyres on Kowalski's McLaren are starting to hit the cliff? Have to wait and see. Could have just been a scruffy lap from the McLaren. Into hairpin comes Suvic now. Gets the car stopped. Nicely turned in. A little bit of understeer on Apex, but continues on nicely. Didn't lose too much time to the car ahead. So from the battle we saw earlier between Carvesa and Kowalski, Kowalski seemed to be relatively strong through Sector 1 and 2, but lost the time through Sector 3. So we'll have to wait and see if this is a similar story here. The gap did jump up to about 3 seconds through Sector 1. Sector 2, about 10th quicker was Suvic through that one there that time. Oh, and there we go. There comes Kowalski into the pits. What a big oversteer moment there from Suvic. Well held. But that is Kowalski finally into the pit lane. And he storms out of pit lane onto softs once again. So that is him down to 3rd position. But he is going to have a hell of a lot more tyre life than Suvic and Zenkov. So keep an eye on sector times as the McLaren gets the car up temperature. So as things stand, Zenkov will get 10 points, which would put him onto 26 points in the championship, and Kowalski would get himself 4 points, which would put him onto 20 points in the championship. So getting close at the top of the table here. Zenkov would take the championship lead if things play out as they are. So all to play for, and it will absolutely be Kowalski's prerogative here to get as many points as he can to maintain his championship position. So providing Zenkov can finish the race in first position, he is guaranteed to take the championship lead. Kowalski will have to settle for just being 2 points behind at best. But he is very quickly closing on Timon Suvik here on those fresh tyres. Gap down to 5.5 seconds. So this is where the strategy is starting to play out for Kowalski here. He's done the overcut, he's pitted later, so that means towards the end of the race he's going to have the better tyres. So it's either going to be he'll have better tyres and he won't have to make that one final stop, or he will have track position. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see what that time's going to be. 119.1 through there for Suvik, 117.9 for Kowalski. So those new tyres are really coming into their own here. And the McLaren engine screaming away. Back on board with the number 8 car here. A little bit of a steer through the apex, but well, it was absolutely fantastic to drive. This is something I will definitely be trying my hand out later tonight, I think. Gap down to 4.6 seconds now, so really flying is the number 8 here. You can see once again that's where the Benetton is, not far up the road. Across start finish line now. 118.7 for Suvik, 117.982 for the McLaren. So once again, just under a second quicker that last lap. Keep an eye on that battle as it develops. So let's have a quick look here at Jeff Van Nielen. I do apologise, Jeff, once again if I'm saying your name wrong. But he's doing a fantastic job here. The first race in the series he has participated in, and is currently in the points paying positions. So he has a lap down, but he's doing a fantastic job. And that'll be 2 points to set him up nicely. And that'll put him tied in 7th position in the standings with Lee Russell, who cannot be here this evening, unfortunately, due to an injury on his ankle, which I hope he can recover from soon. It's not too serious. Anatoly Kachenko as well, who is the other new starter this evening, doing a fantastic job in the Scuderia Italia. In 4th position, that'll be a very nice hunk of points to help him in the standings. Back to this chase between the Benetton and McLaren. 2.3 seconds is the gap now. 117.340 is the last lap there for Kowalski. So he has smashed a lap time just after Zenkov set a new fast lap, 117.698. You hear both engines now in the same shot. The question now is, when do the Benettons pit? They are on a different strategy than the McLaren. So is this the point where Zenkov thinks, hang on a minute, that's a good idea, why don't we get these tyres a little bit longer so we can be on the same strategy and use the pace that we have, 30 laps to go in this race, or just hope that he's got the pace to hold off the McLaren. He does have about 25 or so seconds on the McLaren, and as we see Civic there going around, I think that was Kachenko or Vanille. That is the footwork of Vanille there. This is where you start to think about your strategies. What do you do? Do you just stick to what you've planned and what you know, or do you start to get a bit inventive and try and match the cars around you? Because Kowalski is absolutely going to have an advantage towards the end of the race. He's going to have the fresher tyres when the lap counter ticks down on this current strategy by stretching that middle stint out as long as he could. But how much life do those soft tyres have? How long can he sustain this pace? He's still in the 17s, which is quicker than anybody else on the track at the moment. But how long can he sustain that pace? And that's Suvic in the pits. So Suvic pitting from second place. So this is where we start to think now. I'm not entirely sure if that's the right decision. I would have tried possibly to make the tyres last. Maybe take as much of the life out of Kowalski's tyres as you could, just to hold him up. But yeah, maybe the tyres just couldn't do that. So it just had to come into the pits and get the new set on. Looks like he might have possibly one more stop after this one now, before the end of the race. But he's going to have all the pace now coming through back up to the number 8. Zenkov in the pits as well. Again, I'm not entirely sure if that was the best decision, but Zenkov does have that cushion to choose his own strategy now. He's got 22 seconds on Kowalski and was actually quicker than him on the last lap. So this seems to be a fight for second position now for Kowalski, unless something catastrophic happens to the leader, which we can hope not. Then this seems to be quite a straightforward drive for Zenkov. Let's have a look at some of the lap times that Suvik's going to be doing in a minute. Last lap was a 1:31.5, but that was with pit stops, so not able to see exactly what times are at the moment. Kowalski goes purple for a split second there in sector 1, so he's still flying on those tyres. Personal best for Suvic in sector 1 as well, who's slightly quicker. Zenkov goes personal best in sector 2. So that gap is going to come down between Suvic and Kowalski here. It's about 6.2 seconds at the moment, but yeah, that is absolutely going to start to shrink. Lap 46 of 72 here at the French Grand Prix at Magny-Cours in the ASRC Classic Formula 1 Championship. And I'll remind you once again, if you would like to get involved with the series, then all links to join the Discord are in the description below. I believe there are plenty of spaces left in the C series if you want to get involved in driving these fantastic cars on the this Wednesday evening. Races run every other Wednesday until the end of January now, with a little bit of break over Christmas, with the next round being at Silverstone. So last lap, that was the fastest lap overall for Timon Suvic, 1:17.149. So we're getting close towards the 16s here, and Vladislav Zenkov is going quicker still. So this is getting quite close. Zenkov has put about 2 seconds on. There we go. 1:16.831 was the fastest. Was that then from Zenkov, the fastest lap of the race. Kowalski is dropping back into the clutches of Timon Subic here. 4 seconds is the gap now. A little bit of lap traffic ahead to contend with as well. Yeah, the pace definitely has started to drop off for the McLaren. 118.5 was the last lap, 117.4 was the lap for Timon Subic in the Benetton. So you can see the difference in the fresh and used soft compound tyres coming through now. So what does Kowalski do here? Does he stay on a usual strategy now, or does he try and stretch these tyres out as well to give him just that one quick stop at the end of the race? He's definitely going to need to make another pit stop. He's judging by leader pace, he looked to get maybe 12 to 13 laps on a set of soft tyres before pitting. Kowalski was able to do a lot more than that earlier on. So, is he going to try and stretch these tyres out as well? Give him the edge towards the end of the race. Back in 17s goes Kowalski though. 17.930. That is about 9/10 of a second off Zenkov, but that is only about 3/10 off the chasing Subic behind. So he is matching pace to the Benettons roughly at the moment, which is good for Kowalski. Does have the footwork ahead of, I believe that is Kachenko. No, that'd be Vanilla, I believe. Yes, it is. Yeah, so he will have to contend with that car. Possibly using some of the slipstream just to help him along on the straights, as the gap's come down a little bit more now between him and Subic. 3.5 seconds is now the gap. That's 49 of 72 here this evening. Still plenty of time and plenty of strategic calls and action to come. Gap is now 2.8 seconds between these two cars. You can see they're both in the same shot very briefly. So lap times will start to come down as well as fuel starts to burn off. Can't refuel the car at this in this series. The oil has to be through one tank. So the further you go in the race, the lighter the car gets, and the more nimble the car is, and the better lap times. 17.1 was the last lap from Zenkov, which is equivalent as opposed to 118.5 from Kowalski. So gap is nearly at 30 seconds between those two cars there. So Zenkov has a quite the resounding lead over the rest of the field here. Oh, big moment there for Kowalski. He manages to recover, but that's going to drop him back into third position. Subic just looks at him in the gravel, says thank you very much, I will take that. That is disaster for the McLaren. So all of that work he did to get the track position, and he dives into the pits. That's a good call. That's a long way to go on a set of soft tyres. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of strategy he's going to pull here. That does leave him susceptible. I think he might have to do another stop. 23 laps, long way to go on one set of tyres, but if anyone could do it, it could be Kowalski. Here we are with your leader, Vladislav Zenkov. He is leading his teammate Timon Subic So Benetton 1-2 at the moment. Fantastic result for them in the championship if they can pull this one off. But plenty of time left to go with 22 laps. So about 25 minutes of racing still this evening, so strap yourselves in. Gap between the leader and his teammate 30 seconds, so absolutely flying is our leader here. He has got a very comfortable pace. After the pit stop from Kowalski, 14 seconds between Suvic and the number 8 McLaren, and then number 8 of Kowalski has quite the gap between him and Kachenko, who is 37 seconds behind, who is himself 1 lap ahead of his teammate Jaff van Nielen. Those are your top 5 runners in the race. Everybody else has unfortunately not finished the race. Carl Weiser, I believe, had some technical issues, possibly. Del Borweg, same thing. Sander van Leuven having an incident, stalling the engine and couldn't get it back up and running, I'm assuming. Is currently sat in 8th position, who has not finished, and then Carsten Pols as well, I believe, having some technical issues, puts him out of the race. Kowalski in number 8 goes personal best in sector 1, 24.050. So those fresh tyres serving you well at the moment. Loses time in sector 2 though, that's about 2.5 tenths off where he should be. Across the line, he's not able to go quickest. He's quite a bit off the fastest lap at the moment. Fastest lap is 1:16.831, set by the leader. Back on board with the leader there, who goes a little bit wide coming out of the final corner. 20 laps to go in this race of 72 laps. I'm expecting everybody to have to make another pit stop before the end of the race. Just about, so who will be able to stretch that last stint out the longest? Senkov doesn't have to really make any take any risks here. He is 30 seconds ahead of his teammate, 13 seconds plus, so 43 seconds ahead of Jacob Kowalski, who he is in a fight in the championship with. So providing Senkov can finish the race in first position, he will take the lead of the championship by at the very least 2 points coming into the British Grand Prix, which will mark the just before the halfway point of the season. So the championship fight still very close at this stage. That's the best sector 2 there for Senkov. And personal best sector 1s for both Subic and Kowalski. Across the line, not quickest goes Senkov. He is about 2 tenths off that, but he still has plenty of pace in that Benetton. 17.055 for him. Lap times are staying pretty stable between Subic and Kowalski, so number 8 not really able to keep use the advantage of those fresh tyres. Obviously they weren't as relatively they weren't that much more quick than the Benettons at that point that he made the pit stop. So I think the spin that he had possibly causing a lock-up, forcing him to make that decision when he did. Yeah, that time then at 2/10 slower than the Benetton in second, so possibly just trying to consolidate this position for the time being. Maybe stretch out that tyre set to as long as he can take it. So still plenty of time for this race to throw up some fantastic surprises. They come across the line now. Yeah, it's a little bit slower. Whereas Kowalski about 2/10 off the pace of Suvic. So everyone's just settling into the just this part of the race here. There's some weird weather effects going on there. Looks like Alpha just having a bit of a weather disco. See the light coming up and going away. So we're possibly expecting some rain to come in this race, but it doesn't look like it is coming at all. There's still plenty of time for things to change though, so we'll wait and see if any inclement weather does make an appearance. The gap staying stable around 14 seconds between P2 and P3 at the moment. Personal best for Kowalski there in number 8, 117.191 on that lap, so that's about 7/10 of a second quicker than Suvic. So maybe starting to use some of that tyre life now, just try and close that gap up. Gap's under 13 seconds, so this is one to watch in the coming laps. Yeah, fortunately not too much action at the moment. This is part of the race where everyone just sets into a rhythm and just bangs out those laps until the final sprint at the end. You see this a lot in things like endurance racing as well. There'll be sections of the race where the drivers just get into a zone and just churn out the laps until you come to the very final sprint, the final stint at the end, and you'll put everything in, and that's where all the strategies converge and the racing gets really spicy. So do stick with us as we see Suvic, as I say that, making a pit stop, coming into the pits. This should possibly be his final pit stop now. Yeah, I think that should take him to the end. It's going to be really close on the pit exit now between him and Kowalski. Coming through turn 1, it's going to be side by side coming out of the pit lane. It's going to be Kowalski just that takes the position, but that is going to be him under pressure. Suvic's going to have cold tyres, but he's going to have the grip advantage. Over left and right there goes Kowalski trying to break the slipstreams. Not close enough is Suvic to make the move. So for the time being, Kowalski holds on to that second position, so this is where he needs to make a decision now. Does he try and run away? Does he hold off? Suvic just getting to use as much of that new tyre as he can to gain position. Oh, big break in there, gets really close to the back, side by side. That's Kowalski wide, side by side once again still, and that's Kowalski into third position. So unfortunately wasn't able to hold off Suvic, but this battle's far from over. Unfortunately though for Kowalski, Suvic's going to have the tyre advantage and he's going to start to drive away. There you go, the gap already up to 6/10 of a second, so it's not what Kowalski would have wanted. Got close into the braking zone there, but just had to back out of it to avoid hitting the back of the Benetton. That's absolutely not what Kowalski would have wanted. He would have wanted to hold Suvic off for a lot longer and try and use some more of that tyre life. But provided he can stick with him, he still will have an advantage come towards the end of the race. Obviously, you don't lose that much time at all in pit stops here due to there being no pit speed limit at all. So, I mean, 12-13 seconds is the time you lose in the pit lane, which you could make back over a final stint if you're quick enough. So, and you obviously have the enough tyre advantage. There's only about 14 left to go. Oh no! Kowalski, that's a big spin. That's going to be some lockups on the some flat spots on the tyres as well. So not ideal for the McLaren driver. That puts him pretty much out of the running for the time being. He's going to have it all to do in the final 14 laps of the race. Suvic now going personal best in sector 1 and 2 on this lap. Comes across the line now. There's a 1:17.2, so we're 10th off his personal best. 4/10 off the fastest lap of the race set by his teammate. So there's absolutely everything that Suvic would have wanted out of that pit stop to get out just behind the McLaren, quickly dispatch of him, and then Kowalski to make a mistake and drop far behind. He is now under no pressure and could probably very easily nurse those tyres to the end of the race. Lap 60 of 72 now. We're starting to get towards the end of the race, so our strategies will start to converge. Vladislav Zenkov currently leading the race. Very dominant lead to the race he's had ever since Sander van Leuven retired from the race earlier on. He's just had control and has been able to just run away with it. So dominant, precise driving from the Benetton driver, provided he can get to the end in these final 13 laps of the race. Suvic goes quickest, who is sat in P2. He has set a lap time 1:16.812. And then in third position, as you can see, we have Chequered Kowalski in the number 8 McLaren, the only McLaren we have running this evening. And then we have the two remaining drivers, both the footwork Mugen Hondas. Anatoly Tkachenko in his... oh no, sorry, not... they are both the footwork. So that is the Scuderia Italia that Tkachenko is driving. And then Jeff Van Nieuwen in the footwork Mugen Honda rounds off your top 5, and the 5 remaining runners in this race. We have Carl Vaser, Dale Borweg, Sander van Leuven and Karsten Pols, who will not be finishing the race this evening. Vladislav Zenkov makes his way out of the pits, which will be here, I'm assuming, his final pit stop of the race. And he will have fresh tyres till the end. Sparks flying off the bottom of that Benetton. At a time where you needed to run the car as close to the ground as you could to generate as much downforce as you can. Obviously ground effect not a thing here, but didn't want too much air getting under the car. So it was very usual to see sparks flying up from underneath the car as the skid plate was scraping along the ground, especially along bumpy tracks and down the Camel Straight at Spa, for example. Coming across the line now is that lap time, second one, 1:27.4, but obviously that was including a pit stop. Kowalski just not able to respond here to the pace that Suvic has. 1:18.1 was the last lap time. He's dropped back to 12.7 seconds now. So Suvic is really doing all he needs to do now to secure that Benetton 1-2. Personal best through Sector 1 goes Zankov, 23.616. Sector 2 now. We'll see what kind of sector times these throw up. And then we can see if is Zankov still pushing or if he's just cruising. Well, judging by that lookup, he is still pushing. 32.085 through the second sector goes Zankov, so that is purple once again. Then through the final corner, will this be a fastest lap? Of course it will. 1 minute 15.204. Absolutely rocket ship from the Benetton driver there. With 10 laps of this race to go. It looks like we might get away with not having any rain this evening, which admittedly would make things a lot more, a lot spicier when it comes to strategy. But I'm assuming the drivers will be very happy we don't have to contend with more rain. As in Brazil, it will be very tricky conditions there. There's your second position driver here, Timon Suvic. 4 pit stops this race. Everybody would have made 4 pit stops if the overlay was showing the correct figures. He should be able to easily nurse those tyres to the end there. He's got 14 seconds on Kowalski, so it's not completely safe, but he has a decent buffer. Just right on board for a few minutes. I'll crank the volume ever so slightly and you can enjoy the sound of the McLaren Formula 1 car from 1993. That was a nice onboard lap there with Timon Suvic driving the Benetton Ford, obviously modelled on the R-Factor 2 McLaren from 1993, which was a fantastic addition to the simulator and completely free. So if you want to give this combination a go yourself before you decide you want to get into the series, all of the content used this evening is completely free, so providing you've got a copy of R-Factor 2, you can have a go of this yourself. And once again, if this is something you are looking to get yourself into as well, the links to the Discord is below in the description. You can get yourself involved in the series. There's plenty of spaces open, and I'm sure all the guys will be happy to have one more competitor to race with and get it involved in some fantastic battles in this championship. Next race will be in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. The qualifying starts at roughly 8 PM GMT. So once again, if you are looking to get involved, all links are in the description below. So Jacob Kowalski has dropped back once again. He's dropped back another couple of seconds now, so I think he's just trying to nurse the car to the end now. Make sure he doesn't have to make another stop, and make sure none of those tyres have too big of a flat spot, because he has had a couple of half spins, which, oh, and nearly another one. Let's just say that. Sorry, Jacob. So he just needs to be careful he doesn't throw away a decent podium, which keeps him within the championship fight. Here's a leader. Vladislav Zenkov in the Benetton. This would be an absolutely fantastic result for the Benetton team if they could get this to the end. Give them 16 points, which would put them at 31, which is miles ahead of McLaren and Ferrari. So that'll put them nearly 10 points clear at the top of the team standings. So it'll be a fantastic result for them if they can pull this one off. Onto the order once again, just towards as we get towards the end of the race now, with 5 laps to go. So we have Vladislav Zenkov, as you can see on your screen there, in the Benetton Ford in first position. We have Timon Suvic in the sister Benetton in second, Jeka Kowalski in third place in the McLaren, and then Anatoly Kachenko in the Scuderia Italia in fourth position. Fantastic first race for him. And then the final runner, we have Jeff Van Nieren in the Footwork Mugen Honda, and then we have our non-finishers. We have Carl Vesser in the Williams, Dale Borwick in the sister Footwork. We have, oh, there's a big incident! Oh no, that's Zenkov in the wall! That is Zenkov out of the race, it looks like. That looks like the wing came off the back. That was an absolute disaster! Pushing too hard towards the end of the race, and that is what would be an easy win for Zenkov. Out of the window, yep, he is completely out of the race, and that gifts the lead of the race to Timon Suvic. So absolute disaster there for the leader of the race. He's out completely. Just pushing too hard, it looks like. Just dropped it through the high speed section. Yeah, it just ends the race there and then. So that has really helped Jacob Kowalski's championship hopes. So what was going to be 2 points behind is now going to put him, if he finishes in second position, he's going to maintain championship lead, and that's going to add another 6 points. That's going to put him on 22 points in the championship, which is going to be much higher than it would be otherwise. Let's put Suvic on 11 points. That will put him in third in the championship. So this is just throwing everything everywhere at the moment. So I'm assuming Kowalski is just wishing that he would have been a little bit closer to the back there. And fantastic result for Anatoly Kachenko on his debut. Passed him onto the podium in a Scuderia Italia. I bet nobody in 1993 would have ever thought of hearing those words, Scuderia Italia on the podium. So here is your new leader, Timon Suvic, in the Benetton. So this throws the constructor standings up in the air ever so slightly. So this will put Benetton onto 25 points, and it will put McLaren, let me see if I can do some quick maths here, that will put them on to 24. So Benetton would just take over the championship standings by 1 point in the Constructors. So this is going to be, this is turning out to be a very interesting race. So a little bit of a story of what could have been for Kowalski here. If he was that little bit closer to the back of Suvic, he could have challenged coming into the final stages. But 3 laps to go in this race, and this is looking pretty straightforward as the sun starts beaming out now for Timon Suvic. Bring into the hairpin. And be able to carry on absolutely fine. He's just been nursing those soft tyres to get to the end of the race. Coming past the point where a teammate dropped it, manages to keep the car on the road. Now to start the penultimate lap of the French Grand Prix in the ASRC Classic Formula 1 Championship 1993 season here at Magny-Cours. I must say, once again, it's a race that's thrown up several surprises. Absolute disaster there for Zenkov. He must be feeling bad about that one, just dropping it on his own, 30 odd to 40 seconds in the lead. But he will be bringing much more momentum into Silverstone, I can imagine. Gap came down ever so slightly between Kowalski and Suvic, but too little too late for Jacob Kowalski to challenge for a win here. Still 16.5 seconds behind as Timon Suvic starts the final lap now of 72. We'll ride around the track with him as he finishes the race. Heavy braking zone now, through the hairpin, nice and easy. Down the hill, once again, full throttle for most of the for a large proportion of the lap here. It's absolutely fantastic to see how quickly you can throw these cars around. There's no pressure now, no rush for Timon Suvic. He's got the gap he needs. Coming through the final corners now. Absolutely no pressure there. Be a fantastic result for Timon Suvic to win round 3 of the ASRC Classic Formula 1 Championship here at Magny-Cours. Brilliant result for him to take the win for Benetton. And our championship leader, who maintains his championship lead, comes through the final corners now. Jacob Kowalski in the McLaren takes second position. Fantastic result for him to recover some of the positions there after not the best qualifying. And what a result for the one of our debutantes this evening, Anatoly Kachenko, who manages to pull off a fantastic podium in the Scuderia Italia, provided he can get to the line. Not too far away for him now. And then Jeff Van Illen in 4th position in the footwork comes home there. Through the final corners now comes the Scuderia Italia. Fantastic result though, well done to Kachenko for taking the maiden podium of the season for him. And he pulls over. So let's have a look at the results from the race. Timon Suvic takes home the win for the Benetton team. Jacob Kowalski in 2nd place for the McLaren maintains his championship lead. Anatoly Kachenko in the Scuderia Italia comes home in 3rd. Jeff Van Illen in 4th position in the Footwork Honda brings up the final of our finishes. And then we have everybody who did not finish the race but is still classified. Vaslav Zenkov in 5th takes home 2 points. Karl Vesser in 6th takes home the final point of this evening. And then we have Del Borweg, Sander van Leuven, who had an unfortunate retirement early on. Carsten Pols as well, taking the final spot in La Rousse. So once again, absolutely fantastic race we've had this evening, and please do join us in 2 weeks' time when we head to my home track. Well, my home circuit would be Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. So we'll hopefully see you again. Thank you for everyone for attending this evening, for putting on a fantastic race for me to commentate on. Thank you for watching along this evening as well. My name has been David Buckley with the Chequered Flag Simsports team, and I will hopefully see you very soon. Until the next time we speak, thank you again for watching, and goodbye.